We're here back in the Fantasy Bar, big Friday night of NBA hoops, and I've narrowed it down to 6 of my favorite plays, 3 of my favorite games, some of my favorite correlation plays on this slate, including a guy I think goes for 60 or more fantasy points tonight. Who are we talking about? Belly up to the Fantasy Bar and find out. Welcome in, guys. Friday edition Beers Daily Fantasy Six-Pack. Feels like forever since we did a video. Good to be back here once again. Hopefully you guys are all doing well out here. We are here to talk NBA hoops tonight with 6 of my favorite plays across both FanDuel and DraftKings. Thank you, as always, for stopping by. Now, before we get into the plays, guys, a couple things to take care of here in the house cleaning. First of all, as always, hit that thumbs up button. You guys have been doing an amazing job with that. I thank you for that. If you enjoy your time here in the Fantasy Bar, that is all I ask. You click that thumbs up button. Also, can I ask you one more thing? Subscribe to the channel to get notified when these videos are coming out. Also, a little bit of news. We're going to start including some of my favorite bets and player props moving forward into the six-pack starting next week. And I want you to get over to scoresandodds.com/beer for some special offers over there. The guys have been killing it with the premium picks. March Madness right around the corner. Our boy Varnick has been on fire with the college basketball picks and picks from guys like Notorious, Head Chopper, Andy Means in the NBA section. Going to give you all the premium picks. Can compare odds across a bunch of different sports books there, different trends to look at, money versus tickets, as much gambling and betting information as you guys need. Go get signed up right now. Scoresandodds.com/beer. All right, let's get into the Friday picks here on this NBA slate. Again, I've narrowed things down to 3 of my favorite games. We're going to give you some of my favorite correlation plays. Let's start with point guard Chris Paul of the Suns. Now, Paul really playing well right now, averaging almost 46 DraftKings points per game here over the last 4 games, so really in good form here, and I really like targeting this game. We know New Orleans, these games have been very high scoring, and I know Phoenix likes to slow things down, but we have a big 230-point total here. We have a close spread. So I really see this game going back and forth, being a very high-scoring game, and actually going over that total. One of the bets I do like here tonight is the over on this New Orleans-Phoenix game. I also like this matchup for Chris Paul. New Orleans, 3rd most fantasy points allowed to this position. I know he hasn't played well against his former team so far this season. I think he gets it going here in a big way tonight and under 8K on both sites. All right, I promised you some correlation. Let's go to the other side of that one with power forward center Zion Williamson of the Pelicans. Now, you talk about consistency. Zion is really delivering in that department among other departments we're going to talk about. But let's look at the consistency first, that floor that you're really looking for in your cash games. 38 or more DraftKings points in 19 of the last 21 games. And the games he didn't hit that 38 was pretty damn close. So he's basically giving you that 38-point floor every night out. And why the scoring has really picked up here as of late, has raised his season average to 25 points per game. But this guy's averaging almost 30 points per game in the last 7. Been watching a lot of these New Orleans games very closely. And Zion been close to dominant in these games. Starting to look like the guy that we saw coming out of Duke, really living up to that hype here as of late. Now, Phoenix not very good against power forwards, ranking 20th in defensive efficiency against this spot. So a good matchup here. We already talked about that big total. We already talked about how I think this game is going to shoot out. I think Zion's going to be a big reason why. Don't be afraid to pay those prices here on the big man for the New Orleans Pelicans. All right, we spent a lot of money there in the first game. Let's save you some money here in this next one. We're going to go Detroit and Memphis. Probably not the game you were expecting. We're going to start with small forward, power forward SADDIQ Bey of the Pistons. Now, again, probably not the name you were expecting to see here, but this guy has really benefited from the youth movement in Detroit. We saw Derrick Rose move to the New York Knicks. We saw Blake Griffin relegated to street clothes on the bench, and SADDIQ Bey, one of those young guys that's going to get a ton of minutes here, and we're really seeing it over those last 3 games, averaging 32 minutes per game, and it's really led to a lot of production as well, averaging 36 FanDuel points per game. So we're talking about a nice, easy 6 to 7x return here on these prices. So good buy low here on SADDIQ Bey. And the matchup, guess what? Doesn't get any better than a matchup with the Memphis Grizzlies. If you are a small forward, they allow the most fantasy points to this position. I think Bey continues to play a ton of minutes here, buying low under 6K. Get him in those Friday night lineups. All right, let's go to Memphis side. A lot of choices over there, but we're going to go to the big man, center Jonas Valanciunas. Now, John Morant certainly in play here as well. I don't hate that correlation, but I really like what I'm seeing out of Valanciunas here lately. 36 or more DraftKings points now in 6 of the last 7 games, coming back to the lineup here. And when you start to dig in to some of his fantasy point per minute numbers, look very similar to some guys that you're going to pay a lot more for. Guys like Vooch, who's been great lately. Karl Anthony Towns returning to that Minnesota lineup. Valanciunas' numbers are right there with some of those guys. Also guys like Clint Capella. So very, very productive. We know that in a per minute setting. And Detroit really struggles on the glass. Bottom 10 in rebounds allowed to centers. This is where this guy really makes his hay. Now, he's been scoring a lot here lately, but he did have a 20 rebound game recently. So a guy that can really terrorize a team on the glass. And with really only Mason Plumlee down there, Valanciunas should really be able to dominate the paint here. I see a double-double in his future and a big night here for the big man against the Detroit Pistons. All right, let's move on to our last game. We're going to go to Atlanta and Boston. Let's start with the Hawks with some value at shooting guard small forward with Cam Reddish. So Reddish fits the theme here of today's six-pack, guys. In good form here, guys. You can save some money on only $4,500 on both sides, but playing well, averaging over 28 DraftKings points a game here over the last 3, kind of filling some of that loss when DeAndre Hunter left the lineup here. And we're starting to see another one of those young guys drafted very early by the Hawks starting to pick it up. Now, one of those 3 games, last time out against Boston, really contributed across the board. 13, 6, 3, and 2 in that game against Boston. We know Marcus Smart going to miss this one as well, who's one of their best perimeter defenders. So that obviously helps the matchup here. And I just like these prices. We already mentioned it. Great buy low here on Cam Reddish. 6, 7x return each of the last 3. I think he's easily a $5,500 player here sooner rather than later. Let's buy low at this $4,500 price point while we can. All right, it's time to take a look at my favorite play for Friday night. But before we do that, guys, we're going to continue our Beast of the Night contest for you to play. A thank you to you guys for watching the video, hitting that thumbs up button. All you have to do, get in the comment section right below the video and guess fantasy points on DraftKings for my favorite play of the night. The winner, the closest guess, we're going to give you a free 3-day pass to RotoGrinders Premium, or if you're already a subscriber, they will send you a free RotoGrinders t-shirt. All right, let's wrap this baby up. My favorite play for Friday night, no mass, the Beast of the Night. All right, Beast time. Obviously, you know we're going to Boston. Obviously, you know we're going to go with one of my favorites. You've seen him in this spot before. He's been very good to us, going back to the well on power forward JAYSON Tatum of the Celtics, tonight's Beast of the Night. So we already mentioned Marcus Smart out once again here for Boston. Yes, they get Kemba Walker back. Yes, they get Daniel Tice back. Jaylen Brown also questionable here for tonight. So let's run the numbers here in our Court IQ tool. You can find on RotoGrinders if you are a premium member, an invaluable tool to the NBA research department. But if you take those guys out of the lineup, usage goes up almost 5% here for JAYSON Tatum and skyrockets over 35%. That is a massive, massive usage number here with those guys off the floor. We know Jaylen Brown, a guy that can provide a ton of offense. If he is out, Tatum a lock and load. Even if Jaylen Brown plays tonight, I still love this spot here for JAYSON Tatum, coming off a big game against the Atlanta Hawks, and he's been doing that a lot lately. 55 or more DraftKings points now in almost half of his last 9 games. I'm going to call a big 60 burger here or more for JAYSON Tatum. Big game tonight against the Atlanta Hawks. Boston with revenge on their mind. I think Tatum leads the charge here and gets it done. JAYSON Tatum, easily my favorite play for Friday night and tonight's Beast of the Night. All right, guys, that'll wrap us up for Friday night in the Fantasy Bar. As always, any comments, questions, feedback, hit me up in that comment section right below the video. Don't forget, fantasy points for JAYSON Tatum on DraftKings for your shot at some free RotoGrinders Premium. Don't forget that thumbs up button. And don't forget, guys, scoresandodds.com/beer. I'm promising you some of the best content you're going to see. If you're a new sports bettor, if you're a seasoned sports bettor, tons and tons of information. Can subscribe by the week, by the month, or knock it all out by the year and get some of the best information, in my opinion, out there on the interweb. Scoresandodds.com/beer. All right, guys, good luck tonight. Have a great weekend for RotoGrinders.com. I am Beer saying salut. Guys, again, best of luck, and we'll see you next week.
Hey, thanks for checking out our videos. If you want more expert advice on DraftKings, FanDuel, or any other daily fantasy sports, make sure you check out the current videos playlist.